Hello. So we're back on the beach, but do you know what? This is taking me by surprise. I came down to the beach today thinking a little bit windy. It's a bit head on where I'm at today, but do you know what? I fancy it. And it's a lot windier than it said it was going to be, and so it's a lot choppier because obviously it's a head on wind as well. It's chopping up the sea quite badly. I only hope you can hear me. I've got my new microphone thankfully, but hopefully the sea noise isn't too noisy over it. So I've come down to Milford, and the reason is after last week it was such a hard session at Hordle. I really didn't fancy the long walk and the long stairs and the beach and stuff. So here I'm at Milford. I can park right next to it. I'm a little bit worried I'm going to run out of beach. That's the only thing. So there's only this groin or the next groins. The only two groins are higher up than the rest, so I don't have a choice of where I am. Yeah, one of those sessions. I came out with small rigs, small baits in mind for flat fish in a day, and then try and knuckle down for some rays at night. But now I think I'll be sticking big bass baits out. Look at it. So yeah, I've got a load of various different baits. I've got things like some ragworm. I've got one pack of 3 mackerel, so not many mackerel. Whole box of squid, a couple of packs of sand eel, and predominantly I was coming down to do some ray fishing. But now, yeah, I mean I still hope to get a ray or 2 out of here, but it's probably going to be bass, isn't it? If anything. So I was going to start off today saying the conditions are perfect until I got here. So now, yeah, the problem today is high tides in 3 hours, which is only 8 o'clock at night. So I'm going to be fishing the tide out. No idea how it fishes here anyway, because I haven't been here before, but fishing the tide out isn't ideal, is it? But do you know what? I can't change the tides. Today's the only day I can go fishing, so we're going to give it a go. I've got nowhere to set the shelter up at all. The wind's coming head on, unless I set it up backwards, which I might have to. Yeah, we just do our best today, guys. The video will be as good as it can be. I'm still running on my old GoPro 5 today. I'm just giving that a go. I haven't got my new GoPro yet. That's coming next week. But I do have a new microphone set, and well, we're going to give it a good test today, aren't we? Hopefully you can hear me. If not, this is going to be a long voiceover job. I'm going to set up anyway, and hopefully I'll be able to talk to you in a bit. So yeah, it's one of those sessions, you know, where you turn up and you think, what am I doing? This isn't going to work. But do you know what? Sometimes, and not normally, but sometimes, these are the best sessions. So you never know, right? You've just got to be very careful. The water's not going to come all the way up. Looking at the tide line, it's very possible it might do. But I mean, last week were big spring tides, so the remnants of seaweed up against the wall here are probably from last week. It's a lot smaller tide today, but then it's a lot choppier. So I'll keep all my gear at the wall, ready to chuck up on the wall if need be, and I can get off of this beach within 30 seconds probably with all my gear. But we've got to be careful. I don't want to risk anything today. So as many already know me by now, I do like to set 3 rods up. I like to have 2 main rods out for my target species, and then a little 3-hook flapper out. And that'll be getting my, well, species hunting really, just to see what it's about. But do you know what, today, I don't think it's worth it. Maybe later if it calms down a little bit, we get to high tide and we haven't been run off the beach by the water, then I might get that 3rd rod out. But for now, I think we're going to get the heavy gear out. I mean, whether I'm going to hold the bottom today, I really have no idea. I do have 7-ounce grippers, but I think I might need a lot more than that, but we're going to find out. This might be the shortest session ever. Right, we're nearly set up. So hopefully you can hear me. I'm going to say that a lot today, but we're not going to know until I get home. So complete change of tactics really. I'm going to put a bass bait out, obviously, in these conditions. And then I'm just going to... The problem is I made loads of new rigs up yesterday, but they're all long traces, long flowing traces, and I don't think that's going to do well here. They're going to get tangled. So it's just going through my box and seeing what I've got that is short. Now, one thing I did do, when I fished Chesil last year, I made up a load of bass cod rigs with short snoods. So I'm going to use them to start with. Probably just going to do a whole squid just to start with, because if bass are on the feed, they'll eat anything anyway. So yeah, whole squid on this one. On the second one, I'll either use a flapper rig, because I'm pretty sure in my box somewhere I've got some with short snoods. If not, the next best thing I've got are clip downs. And I know they've got short snoods because I made them not so long ago. So a flapper type rig, 2 or 3 hooks, bits of sand eel, squid, mackerel, I'll alternate, and 1 big bait, and we just see how we go. So unfortunately, I'll go through tide and wind conditions right now actually. Let me bring it up. So as you see the wind conditions, it's now 5:30. So at the moment, I'm going to be 40 mile an hour winds with 60 mile an hour gusts. Definitely isn't. And the wind doesn't do much till 10 o'clock at night. So quite a large swell, but on paper, it looks like perfect conditions for me. Tides, again, not a big tide, and high tides are 8:10, which is unfortunate really, but I can't change the tide times, as we said. So luckily, I had a hunch that I couldn't decide between Hordle again or Milford, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to do Milford, at least call in and have a look at it. So I had a little hunch. I've heard the tide runs here, so I just thought I'd chuck a couple of 7-ounce weights in the truck, and luckily I did. No idea if these will hold, but if these don't, nothing will, so I'm sure we'll be fine. It's a head-on wind, casting's going to be tricky, but do you know what? I think close-in baits are going to be good today. So we're going to put a whole squid on that in a minute, and then probably start off with sand eel on the other one, see how we go. I'll bring you back when I've done the bait. Actually, I've changed my mind. I'll talk you through the bait. I don't talk much in my videos lately. I've got out of the habit of it, so I don't want to bore you for like an hour each video, but I might as well talk a little bit. I only just bought this squid, so it's still frozen. So, not that it's going to wrap particularly well when it's frozen, but I like to do it with a baiting needle nowadays. God. It is actually proper frozen solid. There you go, I'll just stick the squid through the bait needle through the squid. When I try and do this, I try and get the hook at the bottom, but I try and just get the head in the hook, because you've got to leave the head on. You know, think all those times you bring in a squid and the head's gone, but the rest isn't. So whatever it is, eats the head first, I reckon. But ideally, we want a big fish to come and take the whole thing, but it looks more natural with a head than without, doesn't it? So kind of do it like that, ideally. And I'm wrapping a frozen squid here. I'm not sure there's any point, but I like to feel like it's doing something. Holding the hook in place at least. There you go. I just find the baiting needle helps it stay straight and very quick and easy. I love the bait mate I've got, but do you know what? I like this way now. We're just going to put the pennel hook through the top. There you go. Bait number 1. We'll get him out. So for the sand eel, quite often, if anyone's seen my videos before, you'll see I do a sand eel squid wrap normally, sometimes a double sand eel. But do you know what? One thing I learned from your Tom Bagnalls of the world, I mean, watch his videos for catching rays down Southbourne, he's brilliant at them. And it's just put a little inch bit of sand eel on a small hook, and you catch loads of rays like that as well. And that's basically what I'm going to do now. I kind of adopted that last summer, and I've caught way more rays since doing it. So just take the head and tail off. Quite big sand eels actually, but I'll cut it in half. And it's just, you've got to try and thread the sand eel on the hook, and we'll wrap it a little bit. So, I mean, that's all I do. And then when you put the bait elastic on, you want to do a little bit above the eye and a little bit below the eye, and that's it. You're just trying to keep it on the hook in place. Lovely. I mean, normally I'd use smaller hooks than that, but I think my clip down rigs might be size 2.0s, but it's fine. I just want baits out there, then we can have a look at rigs properly later. See if they hold first. Caught bait elastic in the wind's not fun. And you really want to just go around a couple of times below the hook, the eye of the hook, a couple of times above it, and that's it. Just to keep the bait there. So that's bait number 1 going in. Whether it's holding or I don't know. It actually seems to be gripping, but that's the sexy one, that is. If that rod goes, happy days. But it's gonna be hard to tell. We're gonna need a good fish. I'm just gonna put this other one out, same kind of distance. I mean, I'm talking 50, 60 yards, because you know what? I'm probably not gonna cast much further than 75, 80 yards if I put all my effort into it. So ideally I'll come to marks like this and learn them when it's a lot calmer, but hey ho. I'm gonna stop complaining about the conditions in a minute. Well, probably not until I catch a fish. But you know, I've fished in these kind of conditions before, because the problem is I'm stubborn. I come all the way down from inland an hour, I spend like 30, 40 quid on bait and parking. I'm not just gonna go home and give up. So I always give it a go, and you know what, you get some of your best sessions like this, but you know, I've also broke rods before in sessions like this as well, so you know. It can go one or two ways. Here we go, there's a little blank saver. Oh, I'm always happy to catch in daytime. I never actually expect to. Quite happy with that. I know he's only a small, tiny little bass, but I didn't think I was going to catch until into the night time at least. I'm going to go and put him back in, and then I'll come and chat again. So I didn't know I had him on. So basically, I've got my 2 main rods here, out forward, 1 bass bait, 1 ray bait, and then I've got my 3-hook flapper type of rod over there. But I thought, do you know what, it's looking very rocky over there, so I want my bass bait over there, so I'm going to bring both my ray baits here. So all I was doing is reeling in the 3-hook flapper to move it, and that little fellow was on it. But with these conditions, it's very hard to say to put anything on at the moment, so, but it is getting better. So now, big bass bait has gone over there, and these two are going to be predominantly ray baits, because I think there's still plenty of rays about. Had a couple last week and on a couple more this week, so that's predominantly what I'm going to target, basically. Yeah, happy days, no blank. I haven't blanked since pretty much June, July last year, but you still sit there worrying, don't you? But no, that's cool, got that over and done with now, so let's catch more fish. Right, we're still here. It hasn't been dark too long at the moment, but just getting no bites. It's really bizarre. I thought as soon as it went dark, it's only sort of an hour after high tide, it would be good fishing just for an hour or two, and I thought it'd die right down, but it's just not picked up at all. Just had that 1 bass so far. I've just pulled in ragworms, completely untouched. Ray baits completely untouched. So yeah, could be just a 1 fish night. So at least it's not a blank, but I really do want a ray or something else. So left hand rod, what have we got? So I've just stuck a single sand eel, but it's a really big one on that, on a pulley pennel. This one's a 3-hook flapper, 2 hooks with sand eel, 1 hook with a squid head on the top hook, and the one behind me I've just stuck like a half a mackerel out. I mean, I'm not that hopeful of that, but that's the kind of fish you can pick up on nights like tonight, isn't it? Just those big bass swimming around, but who knows. But yeah, I mean, it's only about 9:30, it's still early. Yeah, I'm going to be here till probably midnight, and then I'll pack up. So hopefully we see some more fish, but if not, it might be a quiet one. But I must get in the habit of releasing the videos anyway. Yeah, we don't always have good sessions, do we? So it'd be good to show the bad ones as well as the good ones, but as long as there are not too many bad ones. Do you know what? Unless my eyes deceive me, I think I might have just seen the first bite in God knows how long. Yeah, maybe. It's pretty rough out there, so the rods have got a lot of movement in them anyway tonight, but it just caught the corner of my eye, so I'm gonna, yeah, we might have a fish on here. This was on a flapper rig or ragworm. Can't Kind of getting sick of buying ragworm and not using it, so I'm just trying to use it up now. Just when I think it can't get any worse, but I suppose it is catching a fish. First one in hours. I'll just get it off the hook and come and show you for what it's worth. There we go. We know what this little strap conger looks like, but I'll show the camera anyway. Yeah, absolute pain these are. Normally destroy the rig, but this one hasn't, so he's in my good books. Well, let's put him back in. So now, one or two things may happen. That might have just been a one-off, or we could get absolutely plagued with them now. It's not uncommon to sort of have 10, 20 of them turn up and ruin your night. But we're going to keep fishing for another hour or so, and then we'll see how we go from there. Yeah, it's definitely disappointing today, really. I mean, with the high tide being so early, and especially high tide in daylight, I wasn't that hopeful, to be honest. Plus fishing a new venue. But I really thought, well, I was hopeful of an early ray today while the tide was still coming up. And I thought I'd get a couple of fish, you know, kind of later in the night. And yeah, it's just not been great, is it? One small bass and one tiny strap eel, really. I mean, it's better than nothing, though. But quite disappointed I haven't got a ray. It's probably the first session in about 4. I haven't had a ray, actually. So I shouldn't be too disappointed, but you never know. I've still got 3 rods in the water. So the guys next to me, they packed up, and I just went and had a quick chat before they went, and they've just had dogfish tonight. And they're locals and regulars that, you know, they say they come here to catch a rays quite often. So it's just one of those days, really. It's not been a great day for it, but never mind. Right, that's me packed up now. Well, I've just got the bag to go in the car, but otherwise, yeah, ready to go home. So that was just a poor session. It's probably one of the worst sessions I've had this year, to be honest. Now, I knew it wasn't going to be great. I knew it was going to be slow, but I honestly thought I'd be able to pull a couple of rays out. But nah, not to be this week, unfortunately. So I'm not just going to bore you, keep talking and, you know, making excuses and that. Just had an off day today, not sure what happened. Obviously the early high tide wasn't ever going to be great, but I thought I'd get a couple more fish than I did today. But never mind. Weather might be improving this week, so hopefully get the boat out next weekend and maybe go for a couple of tope sessions through May. That's the idea. I'm going to head back to the pier in a couple of weeks when the weather hopefully improves again. There's a lot of summer species I want to try and catch now. But otherwise, yeah, we just keep plugging away and hopefully the fishing improves. I'll keep this video short. Don't want to bang on for 40 minutes and catch a couple of fish. So short and sweet this one. And then, yeah, maybe I'll talk more when I catch more fish. But thanks for watching. If you got this far in the video, thank you. And we'll see you next time. Cheers.